How long has it been since I did that? It does not matter. Does not matter. Anyways, I don't like to talk, but mostly because I don't really have much to say. You guys watch my art process, and like, let's be real, who fucking watches art processes anymore? Let's be real. Like, unless you're Asian and your name has like some weird, not weird, have some like Korean or fucking Japanese going on in the name, you're not gonna get at least like the 10k or 20k views on your speed paint, okay? We're not that kind of fucking society, a little here in like where I am. So, lovely friendo suggested that I just talk my heart and ears and butt off about what I like the most. Like, just, you know, if you can't talk about your art, then talk about what you like, girl. And I'm like, well, that sounds like a nice idea. So here we are today. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk to you today about one of the things that I've been working on for so long. So one of the reasons that I do not upload anymore, besides the fact that I'm afraid as shit to record myself, I don't know why, I just don't like the sound of my voice. Also, the fact that I am busy as shit doing game deving. I've been doing game deving for 6 years? Long time. I was still a teenager. I don't even remember what that was anymore. But anyhow, sweet baby juice, I had to work so much on like so many assets that I just like, I don't even remember what was asset I was working on. I was working on Sprite yesterday, and it was about like the footwear, not footwear, what the fuck? It was about sleepwear. And it was super sexy. Maybe I'll share that process eventually. Like, eventually. But, like, you know, I'm not gonna be talking about it because fuck that. So, today, we're talking about, me being distracted by also world building. Because I love me some world building, girly pop. And one of the things that I world build is doing species that are fantasy, because I refuse to do elves and dwarves and ogres and what was the other fuckers who were also green? Orcs. Yeah, listen, I looked at the fantasy shit and I was like, they are nice, but they're not mine. You know, I don't know, you know, the possessive person within me is speaking, and I'm like, I need these bitches to be mine, so whatever happens to them is my doing, and nobody tells me that it's against the plot or whatever. So I decided to embark, since college days, on a very interesting journey to create races that I just wanna do, because I refuse to go and learn about elves, orcs, dwarves, whatever the fuck everyone else in the D&D universe, because that's what I can base my shit on. But like, nah, bro, we gotta do everything the hard way. We ain't pussies. I ain't a pussy. Do I look like a pussy? But that's the point. So the first race I'm gonna talk about today is called Gomen, Gommen, and I'm most likely not gonna edit this voice, by the way. I'm not editing shit, because also one of the reasons why I didn't do videos is because I hate editing. I hate it with like the highest note I can hit. It is the worst effort draining thing. Well, I don't think you can do editing and game deving. You either do one of them, like you have 2 weeks of game development and a week of editing, and I'm so sorry, I just cannot sit still for editing. It is not a thing. My hyperactive ass will just not let me. It's either me not being able to sit and I'm fidgeting too much, or I can't just focus because, oh my god, it is so fucking boring. Anyways, I still need to share my shit, so I tend to just stream on Twitch, and it's much easier, and you know. Anyways, back to the Gomen. It's Gommen, Gomen, and these lovely motherfuckers are supposedly originated by plants, so they were supposedly like fauna and flora creatures, but they have consumed enough blood and DNA from humanoid creatures that they became humanoids-ish. Pray that I have any sort of patience to put a picture up, but if I don't, you're gonna have to look on my website or like my fucking socials and find them yourselves. Just browse the other videos, you're gonna know how they look. They are the ones with like fully colored eyes with like a slit for their eyes, for like their iris, pupil. Sorry, pupil. The iris and the sclera are all the same color, and it looks like a split for the pupil, but it's actually just oval pupils. If I draw it as a slit, it's probably an old video because that kind of detail was edited recently. To fit the lore a little bit, because, you know, slit eyes are kind of limited, so you gotta try to give them a little bit of leeway on the vision. But anyways, these bastards originated from as fauna, and people of the other race, which is the Akilka, would come down to areas of hydrogen concentration and I don't know, hunt some animals there, because some animals were meatier in the hydrogen area, and then they go back up to the oxygen area in their original planet because they're no longer on their original planet. They fucking wished upon the stars to be teleported somewhere else when there happened a massive apocalypse that killed everyone. But anyways, we're not gonna talk about that today. We're talking about the fucking, how did they get them genes, that DNA, to become a fucking homo, like semi-homo sapiens. Anyways, oh, by the way, if you guys like can hear something, this is my if you can hear music somewhere, it's because I'm like blasting my anxiety away by listening to music while I'm talking. So anyways, it works. So the Gomen are creatures that evolved. After they evolved, they went from like the hydrogen breathing areas to the oxygen breathing areas. So these fuckers managed to develop oxygen chambers in their hearts that, you know, they can switch between hydrogen areas and oxygen areas. And so there are some plants, and a lot of like nicer plants grow in the hydrogen area. So you're gonna find a lot of farmers stay in the lower hydrogen areas within the planet, and more like city places, development places go to more oxygen areas and like livestock and all that. So they tend to stay in the oxygen area. It's that part is specifically under construction because I had to like tie their lore somehow to their biology, because in their biology they have 5 heart chambers, and like 4 chambers for the hydrogen pumping, and 2 for the hydrogen pumping and 2 for the oxygen pumping, and 1 that basically handles the switch between the 2 and also can like mix the 2 for like very small amounts of time while they switch from one to another. So that was fun to come up with. Weirdest shit I've came up with because I'm like super insistent on having them, you know, and having both abilities. And, you know, it also explains why they kind of look young. Okay, so again, if you already went and checked the drawings, assuming you're not a lazy fuck, you will see that most of the Gomens are very, like, pretty doll-like. Even ones who are technically a little older, like in their 50s or some shit, they don't look that old, and that's because of the hydrogen breathing. You see what happens to your cells when, like, you oxygenate too much, you know, you fucking oxygen mouth breather. Your cells, you know, get affected by that, but besides also the age and gravity, and your cells look like shit, you know, they start looking like shit. You start looking how much you lived. So, because these fuckers breathe both hydrogen and oxygen separately, they can go hydrogen mode if they want to rest, if they want to heal, and if they're sleeping. So, most of their lives, half of their lives at least, they're breathing hydrogen in their sleep and oxygen in their daytime. I did that because they were supposed to come to Earth, or like an alternative version of Earth, and then they like build a civilization there after their planet got fuckoed by the disease. So there's that. What else? So these fuckers be breathing hydrogen at night, which really lessens the effects of oxygen on their skin. So they do get old, and they do lose some coloration in their hair, but they look fine, and like they look like fine wine, if you ask me. And that's their entire like idea, like the core of their idea is that they are pretty motherfuckers to look at, and every male motherfucker in there is a performing peacock, metaphorically,
because like their society standards have like these really strong, let's say, well, I don't want to say obsession, but like they're very focused on looking like you are worth the worth the human interaction, or like at least worth the interaction with them. And so like men are, and to make it spicy, make them different, make it fun, there's like normal for both races to put on makeup and put up pretty clothes and colorful ones, because their idea is not necessarily men and women have different roles. Yes, that concept still kind of exists there, but like both men and women should strive for the role of perfection, which is, being as beautiful as Mother Nature is the whole idea of it. So they beautify by wearing intricate clothes that has floral patterns, by making their hair and putting gold and jewels and flowers. Don't forget the flowers. Holy shit, they're big on the flowers. And they put makeup to hide any blemishes, hide any beauty marks. They don't like their beauty marks, bro. They don't like beauty marks. So if you got beauty marks, you better fucking foundation that shit, bro. Or else people are gonna point it out and it's like, hey, you forgot a beauty mark. And then you're like, oh no, I'm proud of my beauty mark. And then they're gonna look at you weird because who the fuck is proud of that, you weirdo? It's your skin being weird. Cover it up, bitch. Like, they're very brutal about their looks. Like, they do not leave people be. The society is very homogenous. For better or worse, of course. But what else? Oh, and so like dudes have like these like strong, bold colors because attract the female and shit. Like, hey, if you're gonna be worth something, if you look good, be good, smell good, act good, be successful, that kind of shit. Don't bring shame on your family, that kind of stuff. And like reputation among other like neighbors and shit like that's kind of important, because like again, if you look not even like slightly not good, people are gonna start like talking about you and talking about your parents, and they're like, oh, what's going on? Are they going through hardships? Like, what is happening? So unless, and that's usually like so like that kind of criticism goes like from either poor or the rich, and like the spectrum of poor and rich, depending on where you are in that spectrum, your ridicule is either going to be a little bit more empathetic or more like psychopathic, where it's like you are filth. This should not ream this earth. So of course we can always tell that the fucking people who will think you're filth are the rich ones. And if rich ones have a mental health crisis, oh my god, bless you, you are dead. You have committed social suicide. If anyone finds out that you're struggling with something, and that it reflects on your appearance, oh my god, you are dead. But yeah, people of the middle class, and like the poorer class, they're like, they wear some stuff. They got a flower or two in their heads. Maybe they got one bracelet, a couple of nice earrings. Not too expensive, but men and women do the same thing. Men are more about bold colors and females about like pastel. I forgot to say that females are about pastel-y, cutie colors, like delicate flowers and all that shit. Whatever, you get the point. But yeah, what else I was going? So yeah, depending if your ass is poor or rich, you're gonna see way more wilder presentations of beauty. So again. Poor to middle class, flower, little jewelry, nice frill here and there, a little bit flower style clothes. They have like clothes that are like styled after different wraps of flowers, I guess, if that makes sense. Like there's like the tulip style, which has become more in fashion in like the storyline of the game that I'm working on right now. So the tulip style is now in fashion. And there was also the sunflower style, which is like basically okay, most of their like stuff look like dresses. Again, both genders strive for the same thing. There are styles, you can kind of tell the distinct between the style for men and women, but like they're both all like, they don't have the concept of trousers. The concept of trousers is not really there necessarily. It's like, it's there, but it's not popular, okay? It's usually under your clothes. So, yeah. But anyways, what else? There's fuck. As I was saying, the sunflower style is basically where like your outfit has a lot of like little parts that sprout outwards and upwards towards the sun and kind of like that. Whether it was on your sleeves or on your neckline or at the bottom, you know, that kind of shit. There's also the rose style, which got super popular by popularized by a famous actor who really was into the rose style, and that rose style was kind of old, but then it got popularized again by that actor. The most controversial one was the lily style because it was worn by a serial killer. And it was his favorite style, so that shit faded out of fashion so fast. Woo! So fast. But anyways, also emerging styles that will happen eventually in like the stories that I will be writing soon enough will be the asymmetrical fashion. So a little bit of another tidbit about the Gomen. They are obsessed with symmetry, bro. If you are not symmetrical, babe, you don't deserve to breathe, basically. So, I'm guessing some of you are wondering, does that make the men catty and competitive? Oh my fucking god, to call them competitive would be an understatement. They are straight up passive-aggressive trash to each other. Again, depending on the class of people. Rich people? Pfft, holy shit! Do not walk there unless you're born there and you're stuck there somehow. Of course, there's like, you know, being tactful about it, but whatever. Middle class? Yeah, they kind of tear you down a little bit if they don't like you. Poor people, they're too busy trying to fucking find food to care that much, but they will definitely still call you out, you know. People do not necessarily, you know, figure it out, bro. You get what I'm saying. Anyways, what was I saying before that? I was saying something about rich people. I kind of forgot. Ah, whatever. I remember it later. But anyways, are they competitive? Yes, they are super, super fucking competitive. It's like, and depending on how competitive you were, if I say competitive one more time, I'm sorry. And depends on how you were raised. You either are worse or better, but you know, whatever. Do they have religion? They do have a religion, and it is basically praising Mother Nature. Of course, since they got into capitalism after they came to Earth, that is not exactly the strongest religion anymore. Capitalism is not taking them by storm as much as it took the humans by storm, or at least the post-capitalism, because that's where we are right now. There are phones, there is social media, but again, it's not brain rotted as bad. I mean, I'm not gonna make it brain rotted because we need, you know, human beings to actually be in the story, not whatever the fuck we have in my generation. Anyways, man, I'm saying a lot of wild shit today. Whatever. I do not know a time where I did not know, country drama, but like, whatever. I don't care. I'm talking about stories. So, talk a little bit about them before they came to Earth. So before they came to Earth, they were one uppity motherfuckers. So they share the back before they came to Earth. Their planet was called Dehrama, and so they shared the lands of Dehrama with another race called the Akelka. That race, I'm not gonna talk about it in this video because I'm already running so long. But whatever. That race, basically, they were like completely and utter shits to them. They, at some point, like the Akelka race kind of looks like a mix of lizard people, mix of, they're basically humanoid monsters. So a lot of them with horns, a lot of them with tails, wings, some of them look like dragons, some of them look like owls, some of them look like fucking spiders, you know, depending. It's a big branching, and and each of them have like their own categories. There's so many tribes of them that it will take a separate video, but basically to say that the Gomens were, in a way or another, kind of their natural predators. And I say that loosely because the Akelka feed on not just meat, but also emotions. So depending on what kind of Akelka you are, it depends on how you consume emotions from someone. It's basically most common ways that they bite you, and then they just consume whatever that comes out of your body from that moment. and then they satiate their like hunger, their second hunger, and in quotation second hunger, and then they retrieve. And so Gomen do not like the Akilka. Of course, like if you're a more advanced Akilka, more versed in their magic, which they call Mijak, whatever, you know, magic Mijak, it is what it is. So I'm just calling it magic because it's easier than saying Mijak, whatever. So, if you're more advanced Akilka, you only have to like hold their hand for a little bit and they will feel slightly tired, but that's like the least offensive way to devour their emotions. And so, Gomen were like, fuck you, we do not want that, we do not like you, fuck you, you're ugly, you're fat, and we don't like you. And you look terrifying, you look like demons. And they kind of do, not gonna lie, but yeah. And so, the Gomen became the #1 spearhead to actual genocide against these bastards. I mean, they tried. At some point, there was this massive fucking war that happened between them. By the way, the reason... okay, before anyone says, like, how can fuckers called the Akilka wield magic and then they lose in front of twink boys over here? Like, twink boys can have abilities. I forgot to mention the abilities. They have telepathy... and some of them have straight up, like, fucking the ability to move shit with their minds. Others have, like, their hair is their, like, okay. They're separated into wired and terminals. Wired are people who can use their hair as, like, a limb or multiple limbs. Depends on how good you are in controlling your hair. Every Gomen can move their hair, okay? They are taught from childhood how to move it, how to wield it, how to use it. And... basically, that's like, it's like a massive spectrum. Wherever you lie on, that's where you are. So on the left, there's the wired, and on the right, there's the terminals. And terminals are more rare than wired. So most people tend to fall into the wired category with a little bit of terminal energy, terminal powers. But very rare people do have focus on terminal abilities, and they have a very distinct look to them. Like, for example, the wired have long, straight hair. Terminals have more like coily or wavy hair, and they can literally talk to aliens beyond space. Like, I kid you not, these people's mind powers are severely strong. These people have been able to talk to celestial rays because of how far their fucking radio signals can go. And they managed to discover that there's a celestial race, they call it the Humani, and they are literally stars, and then they talk to each other on occasions. The pure terminals, the people who have, like, strong terminal energies are usually, like, in, like, more of isolated, a little bit not city-style people. They're kind of, like, you know, simple folk and whatnot. Cute simple folk. And, you know, they have, like, religion to follow the stars, and, like, the stars will guide them, all that shebang, you know. You get it, you get it. So, you stand between terminal and wired, and most people fall somewhere in the center between the two, maybe leaning a little bit to wired, maybe leaning a little bit to terminal. So, these bitches, while Akilka had Mijak, these bitches were being poked by 1,000 hair. And some of them would, like, tie weapons and blades to the ends of their hair, and the warriors, you know, they would be tying blades, axes, dumbbells, like, you know, wrecking balls to their hair, and they will literally crush the Akilka and, like, slice them. It's like, the more preferred death, either, like, the surgically accurate cuts where they just kill you outright, or, like, death by 1,000 cuts kind of thing. Or those who just, like, fucking crush you with their dumbbells. So, like, they were not defenseless. And some of them, the more doctory, the more surgeon type of Gomen, can occasionally do what they do with each other. So, like, a very interesting trait that the Gomen can have is adult Gomen who have good control of their hair / connectors. Because, by the way, they call them connectors. If you call it hair, they will look at you like you call them the N-word. So, like, don't say hair to a Gomen. Say connectors. So, some Gomen, when they're, like, experienced enough and have tried this before, can connect to one another by the back of their neck, so like their hair kind of like can stick to their well, anywhere really where their spine is. They can connect to anywhere where your spine is, but like, you know, because most people don't cover their necks, they just connect to you from the back of your neck. And you can basically transmit any information you have or they have from them to you and vice versa, you know? So if you're like, oh, I want to learn the language, but like I'm kind of in a pickle right now and I need to learn this like right now. And so you connect to someone and you just learn their language like for like maybe a few minutes. You connect to them and like the influx of information just like flows through your brain. Of course, like if you're inexperienced or young, you can't do that a lot, obviously. If you're an adult, an older adult, you can handle this kind of stuff better because it does give some sort of vertigo as an effect. So that's why it's not used in schools as more meaningful methods of learning. You can do it with like small amounts of information, but shit as big as a language, a whole ass language, you need to like be a little bit careful what you transmit, you know? So anyways, these people who are more surgically accurate, they can basically connect to an Akelka's mind, and because Akelkas are not made to be connected to via, you know, their fucking spines or like whatever, the nerve that is on their spines, I don't know what it's called, I fucking don't remember my English right now, they can basically just kill them. The moment they connect to the back of their necks, just kill them. And if they are extra evil, they basically do a complete memory wipe and they basically mentally enslave them and make them kind of like, you know, their loyal servant or whatever. Some of them it was like heinous crimes they did in the war. Well, like, listen, it was war. Everyone did horrible shit. But the shit that the Goman made, it's like, instead of, okay, so an Akelka, theoretically speaking, an Akelka would like burn your house, kill your kids, you know, the Gomen are more degenerate. They would grab you and brainwash you into thinking that you are a pig, and they would make you live the rest of your days oinking in front of them as entertainment. Like, they have a very specific type of like torture, like shit that you prefer that you were dead instead of experiencing it, I guess. Or like seeing yourself experience that kind of shit was like, damn, would have been easier if they just burned me alive, you know? There's also another time where they would kidnap Akelkas occasionally, the ones with more lizardy skin, and they would skin them to make fashionable items out of. Keep in mind, both races are humanoids. The Gomen earned their title of the Skinners, and then they are like, and it became super popular in like earlier times. Again, earlier times, pre-war. Not pre-war, it was after the war, but like, you know, it happened for a while, and then a lot of people were like, okay, listen. And it was like the rich people doing it. So a lot of people were like, okay, hold on. Now we're just asking for another war. We don't want to go into another war. And so like that practice thankfully stopped. But you know, if you call one of them a Skinner or a Husk, you are absolutely asking for a fight and to be punched. So just don't talk about the bad things. And they don't care, by the way. It's like they have this like attitude of, hey, did I actually hurt you? And they're like, no, but you're a terrible people. And then they're like, okay. Do you have anything else to whine about? Like, they do not care, bro. You can't guilt trip these motherfuckers. Like, they are way too, like, I guess, mentally protected against these, like, simple tactics, I guess. Of course, there's, again, the poor people who are uneducated. They can be fooled a little bit, but you get the point. They have a lot of pride in their race, a lot of pride in their appearance, a lot of pride in other things. They genuinely think they're better than the Akelka, so, you know. I'm not, you know, they like themselves, okay? They don't have hatred towards themselves. Anyways, Gomen come in very beautiful colors, by the way. The more wired are displayed to have more pastel-y color, paler colors of skin. Like, for example, they have pinkish skin, bluish skin, yellowish skin. The green one is really nice. And their skin has, like, this accents that is, like, similar to a flower. You know, like, flowers that have, like, two colors in their petals? Like, maybe the base is, like, purple and, like, the inners of the flower towards like the center of it, toward the pollen is like a different color, like white, for example. Yeah, they have kind of like that, but it's not like a harsher difference like the purple and white. It's more like, oh, if you have pink skin, you will have like orange-ish blush around like your around like your what is it called? What's the parts? It's like your joints, like your joints. Every part on your joints will tend to either have these like colorful marks, or parts that are like not bone, that doesn't have bones, like your cartilages. Like, for example, your ears, a little bit of your ears will have a little bit of that color. Your nose, there's like patterns of that brushing. Some people have the brushing on their like eyes and cheeks. Some of them only have on their nose and a little bit of the forehead. Some of them only have on their lips. Some only have from like their nose to their cheeks to their ears. Like, you know, some of them have like a big brush of that color on their collarbone and a little bit on their chest and necks. It depends on what pattern you're born with on that thing. With these like blush marks or like beauty marks, this is like their beauty marks, the more acceptable beauty marks, I guess. And it usually a color that complements your skin. So if you have like purplish skin, you're gonna have either bluer or pink marks. If you're pink, you're gonna have more orange or like magenta marks. If you're green, you're gonna have either green or orange. You know, colors that are either the same or complementary. Or you can have reddish ones on your green ones. The reddish one on the green is like slightly cute. The red also there. I know I said orange a lot, but like, you know, ones who are yellowish or greenish can also have red marks that kind of blends a little bit. So there's red parts and orange parts on the green parts, and it's like really, really pretty. You get what I'm saying? They also have night vision. So these bitches can see you in the dark, so you can't fucking go haboo on them. They will see you in the dark. They're the one who are going haboo on you. So, what else? Oh, also, they are always born instead of twins. Or triplets if you're feeling if your womb feeling extra generous that pregnancy. Or, well, not triplets, maybe quadruples, but yeah. Anyways, so Gomen have a lot of population because they are born instead of twins, and like the twins have like this telepathy bond where, let's say, for example, if your brother feels sad, like really, really sad, you, in the middle of a good day, you will start feeling a little sad. So you're like, out of nowhere. So you're gonna be like, oh, I suddenly feel sad. Is like my bro okay? So like, you know, in a way, you can like vaguely fear what the other does. But if the other is in danger and whatnot and feels extreme fear, you will feel fear and probably figure out that they're in danger. Some people who have like strong connections with their twins report that if their brother or like sister get hurt or like break a bone, they will sometimes feel the echo of their pain in their own arm. So they realize that their brother or sister is like in a very big pain, and they would like, you know, ask the teacher to excuse them and go and check their bros, like what the fuck is going on, you know? And that kind of has like this fun dynamic where you both are either work together or you're gonna be each other's worst enemy and rat each other out to your parents. So like, but because Gomen twins are born connected in a way, in a very vague way, that even they don't know why is it the way it is. They tend to at least work in camaraderie. If they don't like each other, they work in camaraderie. And the culture of their society encourages twins to always have good relationship, for the parents to raise them loving each other, fix problems, you know, fix their problems together, that kind of shit. Some of them border a little bit on dependency, but like, hey, you know, you're not gonna have anyone closer than your twin. That kind of mentality a little bit. But yeah, so that also means that what if babies are born alone? And yeah, that can happen. You are gonna be ostracized. You are gonna be the bastard who will be ostracized because, like, most of the Goman society are twins, and so a lot of their events and celebrations are born on the idea of two. So if you're a single child, God bless you. It's gonna be very hard of you to fit in, but whatever, you know. What else? What else? What else? There's also like very specific memorial places where, like, if one twin dies and the other lives, they start to like mimic their brother because like their brain is not really comprehending the fact that whatever connection they had is like kind of cut off, and like they report feeling these like hollow feelings of like not finding their sibling and like sleeping in their beds, eating their food, even if they don't like the food that they like, they would eat it. They start dressing like them, dressing in their clothes. It's like it becomes super hard for them if like a twin dies, and so like there's like memorial services specifically to help twins, the living twins cope with their dead twin, and maybe like you know, hold a little bit of room that is like made specifically for that twin in like the memorial service house, where like there's pictures, the stuff they own. These people in like the memorial service, they try to keep the scent of these objects as like last as long as they can. They make like memorials that are based on that person. They collect everything they know about them and like talk about how great they were, how awesome they were, and like they mention their virtues, and like they would talk to the twin who's alive. You know, give them a little bit of it's a bit of like slightly therapy, but in the same time, like, you know, it's services they offer, so they can keep remembering the twin and reminds like, hey, his memory still lives on even though he's no longer like near you and stuff like that. So yeah. Anyways, I think I've been rambling enough about them. I've rambled for a very long time. Enjoy whatever the fuck that's gonna come out of this. I hope you enjoyed the little bit of tidbits that I shared about the Goman. Tell me if you want me to talk about it more. I'll probably make a bullet point for like any questions or any stuff that you guys want to know, and I'm just gonna answer it. And maybe, I don't know, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna put examples on screen because I don't even know if I'm gonna do this right now. So take it for what it is, boys. I'll just answer you and hope it was as interesting to you as it was fun for me to develop these motherfuckers for like 6 years. But anyways, thank you all so much for being here with me today. Enjoy your little bit of word vomit of lore dumping. Bye!